Hello, fellow Autel Evo Lite or Lite Plus premium bundle owners. I just thought I would make a short video just to show you how I pack my drone and other things into the bag that comes from Autel. I made a similar video a few years ago when I had the original Autel Evo, and it seemed like people liked the video, so I've done something similar. So I thought I would just do a quick video on this. This is the arrangement here. Hope I stay in focus. I'm gonna pull everything out first. You can see how I'm doing it as I pull it out. Basically, what I've done is I've taken the original pads that Autel gives you, and I've ripped them all out. They're in here by Velcro. I've taken them all out and I've rearranged them. And also, you end up with an extra piece. This piece was attached to another one, and I cut the threads. This one I don't actually use. So what I end up doing is I make basically a 3-story house here with a basement, a first floor, and a second floor. I prefer it this way. I'm not saying this is perfect, but it works best for me. My philosophy is I don't need the spare batteries to be on top. You know, I don't want spare batteries sitting out on a picnic table somewhere in a park. So the spare batteries go in first. What I've done is I've rearranged the pads so that there's the bottom, which I call the basement. Then there's the first floor with this pad that's Velcroed in. Then there's the second floor, okay? So that's what I've done. So here's the first floor. What goes in, the basement. In the basement go my batteries. I actually have Velcro on the batteries for my strobe. I don't fly at night that much, but I do on occasion. And, you know, so I like just to pop the strobe on top of the batteries. It works fine. My ND filters, the only downside of this packing method is the ND filters are down on the bottom. But I do more photography now than video, but I haven't used the ND filters that much, quite honestly, yet. I've owned the drone for a couple of months. By the way, I love the drone. Totally in love with it. My favorite drone ever. It's my 4th drone. I had a Parrot Anafi. I had the original Evo. I had a Mavic 2 Pro. I didn't like the geofencing of DJI, and kept it for a couple of years, but I'm so glad I finally got rid of it, and I'm back to Evo. I live in an authorization zone. It's uncontrolled airspace. So, but it's a DJI authorization zone. So to fly out of my backyard, I have to get permission from DJI, and it's uncontrolled airspace, and it's always bothered me. So here's the drone. The drone sits on the first floor. It goes in this way, flat on its feet. And, you know, you gotta be careful on the motors, but it fits. There's play, and it fits. And so the drone's actually sitting on its feet. Then we put down this pad, and it's Velcroed here. And then now this is what I call the second floor. The second floor goes the controller. So the controller sits on top. It's relatively light. It's not gonna harm the drone. And this issue of the controller sticks, I leave them on because it's not gonna get touched by the top here. It's lower. And then I put my Lume Cube strobe in a little, it's like a film canister that I bought at Dollar General. I think there's Dollar Generals everywhere. You can get these film canisters for like $1. So that sits in there. There is one other thing that I put in the bag, and that is these are like plumbing. They're for plumbing. I found them in my basement, and because they're about 1/4 inch thick, I use them to jack up the front legs of the Evo when I'm launching, to get the gimbal the camera about another 1/4 inch off the ground. As many of you know, it kind of can get hooked up on an uneven ground, the gimbal isn't free to move and to calibrate itself. So that's how I do it. And you know, I do mainly photo and video. I usually only fly on one battery. I don't even pull out the other batteries. I don't like to fly for long periods of time. But I've got my controller right here on a lanyard, of course. And then the drone and the other stuff stays down low. Now, if I want an ND filter, maybe I'll put it on beforehand, before going out, based on the weather, you know, how bright it is. So that's how I do it. And the charger, I have a multi-charger, which is plugged in right now upstairs. But I mean, you can put the charger in here, the wires here. There is room for the multi-charger too, but it's gonna have to be like on the side. It's hard to get that long multi-charger inside. You can though, you can get it in here. It can sit across here, but you just have to be careful it doesn't accidentally turn this on. All right, so that's how I do it. Hope that you found that interesting. Thanks a lot.